This is what I get to see every Sunday. There are a lot of younger faces oftentimes, but to see, 300 to 400 college students come into this room and to be excited about being here and to pray out loud, to sing out loud, to be, the energy is here. I have people from the Mary Immaculate Parish, people from smaller parishes around who bring their children here just to be with your children as they pray. It's just an amazing thing. There's an energy here from your children that is a healing in this city, in the Northeast Missouri. There's a power here that can only come from God. God is so very active in this room. And I get to stand up here and enjoy it all. And I cannot imagine ever having a better job than this one. Now, the readings, I'll deal with the gospel first because I'm going to kind of just not deal with it too much. I probably read 100 different explanations of what this means. To my mind, the gospel, he's just trying to say, look, we are so smart and we work so hard to make sure we're so successful in the world in which we live. If we're about making money, we know how to make money. We know how to make a deal. We know what sells and what doesn't. We're wise, we're smart, we're creative, we can do all these things. I'm surprised they haven't canonized, Job when he died. Job, that was it. The creativity in the workplace is honored, but very little of our energy is spent on being holy. And by holy, I don't mean doing good things, because I'm not sure what those good things might be for each individual. But what I mean by we don't give energy and creativity and power to drawing closer to our God on a daily basis. What most of us need, I think all of us need, is to have a focal point, an option. They used to talk about, I think, 1969, the church declared a fundamental option for the poor. All of us need to have in our lives a fundamental option about something that guides us and tells us where we're going. Some students arrive here with that fundamental option. I want to be a nurse. I want to be a teacher. I want to be a doctor. Something in the way they were raised, the way they were trained, maybe something that happened in their life, gave them this drive, and they're focused on it, and they go there. And that's wonderful. Others come in and they haven't had that experience yet. So the experience of college is trying to get them to be able to discern that fundamental option that is theirs, to give them the energy to go where God is calling them. And we hopefully, by the time we get out of 4 years here, we've found that fundamental option. But it's not there for all. There might be another year or two that needs to unfold before that fundamental truth of who I am, who I want to be, where I want to go, and how I want to get there takes shape. But this is what I think the challenge of these readings are all about. It's called fundamentalism, okay? Fundamentalism. Go back to the fundamentals. Amos is so upset. Amos, he'd be just terrible upset if he thought that we always associate with Amos's cookies. He's about, not cookies, he's about the meat of the thing, Stop doing what you're doing. Stop picking on the poor. Stop manipulating the market. Stop cheating these people. I mean, he spares no one. Because he sees the core, the central part of who they were as Jews was to take care of the poor. And that same voice, raised to an nth degree, is Jesus' voice. Take care of the poor. Take care of those who cannot take care of themselves. This is what we are all about. That's the fundamental option I think most all of us have to make, is to make sure that we know where we're going. I was a Jesuit for 22 years, went 4 years in high school, so that's 26 years. And I've been a closet Jesuit for the rest of my life. I have great respect for St. Ignatius, for the spiritual exercises, and for the wisdom that he has passed on for, 450 years now. And one of the things he talks about is the principle and foundation. So I'd like to read this to you and then we'll comment. Every person in the world is so put together that by praising, revering, and living according to the will of God, our Lord, he or she will safely reach the reign of God. This is the original purpose of each human being, to come back to God. Every other thing on the face of the earth is meant for humankind to help each person come to the original purpose God has put in each one of us. The only thing that makes any sense at all in the use of all things, then, is that a person use everything that helps realize that original purpose deep in the self and turn away from everything that alienates us from the original purpose in ourselves. If it leads me back home, I follow, I use it. If it leads me away from home, into self, basically, then I reject it. We can push this a little bit further, okay? When we are under no obligation in conscience, that we know we have to do one thing or another, we ought to keep ourselves free of any fixed preference for one or another created thing. I'm at a balance. As I'm about to make a choice, I don't know which one I'm going to choose. I don't know. What does this entail? It means that before we ever face any decision, we do not determine to do everything that will keep us healthy and nothing that that make us sick. So, all things being equal, with nothing in conscience to tell me, I don't drive myself to do everything that will make me healthy, because that's supposed to be what it is, and I never do anything that might make me unhealthy. That's a hard one. We drive for health so much. Health, believe me, I know how health can become a problem. But it can't be the normative thing. We have to say, Lord, how am I going to serve you best? How do you want me to be? Do you want me to be healthy? Okay, I'll do healthy things for you. If you need me to do this that might make me unhealthy, I'm willing to do that also. I'm at peace with whatever direction I'm called to go. Long life or short life? Lord, I don't make a decision now without saying, which do you want? Do you want me to live longer or do you want me to live just the day? It's your decision, Lord, whatever you want. If you want me to have longer days, more days, it's a prayer I pray all the time because I love to be with these children. Lord, keep me here, but not if my death would serve you better. And I don't have to know how that might be. I just have to know that it can be. Rich. Lord, I'm not going to do anything that will make me rich or poor. I'm at balance. Lord, what do you want? And he may ask you to have the resources you need to be able to raise a family the way a family needs to be raised, to be able to have enough affluence so that you can share that affluence with people who are in need. God calls each and every one of us, but we have to give up that notion that wealth is more important than being poor, good health is more important than being sick, and long life is more important than a short life. I mean, this is where the rubber hits the road. And that's what he's talking about, Amos is. And then we jump to Timothy. And Timothy says, all people are called to this. Every human being. And it doesn't matter what quality, it does not matter who they are. They don't have to be called Christian. They need to be called human. And they belong to God. This is fundamentalism. This is where Francis, our Pope, is riling people up because they call him a liberal. He's a fundamentalist. He's going back to the very fundamental things we need to. We're going to take care of the poor. If we're going to be significant people in this world, we need to start at the core of who we are and radiate out You don't start out here and pull back. You begin here at the fundamental. You pray for your leaders. You pray for Francis instead of being mad at him. You pray for Obama instead of being mad at him. You pray for your senators instead of saying that the legislature and these people are the worst people in the world. All the anger that loose in the midst, and in this room, if we got into it right now, the anger that has surfaced has no place in us. The judgments that we make against one another. You know, what group of people don't we hate as a group? Don't like our leaders, don't like our doctors, don't like our lawyers, don't like our news people, we don't like our priests, we don't, it goes on and on. Pray for your leaders, please. There should be, Timothy says, no anger in you. Everyone should receive and be given their own dignity. This is what these readings are about. Finding and serving God in each other, in the poorest of the poor. Now, how do the students here do that? Well, we don't have clear avenues in Kirksville to make that an easy place to do that. Some will work out at nursing homes and read to somebody. Others will work with the kids over at Mary Immaculate. Some will help with Hope's Kitchen. Some will work with a sorority or fraternity that's dedicated to service. People will find ways to be of service. But right now, their job, God has sent them here through you to be students. That's mainly what they're supposed to be doing. And that's what we cheer them for. Do your studies. And let the rest kind of fill, and lift you up. But you have to balance studies, recreation, and spirit. All of them are here. And I have found that those students who've made a fundamental option to draw closer to God study well, play well, and pray well.